Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So it's the 4th of March, which means it's the first Saturday. That means it's time for a new Mission Inspiration Challenge over on our Facebook group. So remember, if you want to play along with these mission inspirations, all you have to do is to visit the link that I'm putting in the description area below and on the screen at the moment and click join, and you can play along with us too. So this month we have a guest mission controller in the name of Linda Simpson, who has worked out the 8 prompts and all the inspiration words and the colour scheme for the month. And because we're entering into March and spring is just around the corner, then we get to play with some spring colours. So as normal, I will show you the mission brief that Linda has done, and then I'll show you the page that I've created, and then I'll join with you again back at the end.
Welcome, Art Agent Specialists. Agent L here with your mission for March, should you wish to accept it. The prompts are as follows. Number 1, apply pattern paper to tissue paper. 2, add a thin coat of paint from suggested colours. 3, use stencil with medium of your choice. 4, add a focal image. 5, use at least 2 rubber stamps. 6, make marks with credit card. 7, add a quote or phrase. 8, add a border. And your suggested colours for this mission are green, yellow and brown. Your words for inspiration are spring, regeneration, jump, madness and germination. Remember, this message will self-destruct in 3 seconds. Good luck.
So to kickstart off the March mission, I have my 3 colours already taken out with my archival inks, and we're going to start with step 1, apply patterned paper or tissue. I have some fragments of some old hazel and ruby tissue paper that I'm going to stick down using the matte collage page from Aleen's. Placing the tissue paper down the centre of the page because I've already planned out that I want to put 2 focal images on the left and the right hand side of the page. Once I'm happy all the tissue paper is stuck down and glued and sealed in place, I'm going to bring out my heat gun and give it a good blast to make sure it's all nice and dry before moving on. Step number 2 is to add a thin coat of suggested colour, and I've taken the yellow, which I want to use. I've already put a small amount of the medium yellow acrylic paint onto this styrofoam plate, and I've also added a little bit of white gesso too. I'm going to spritz with a little bit of water just to make it a little bit more thinner, and then I'm going to mix the 2 colours together to get a nice toned down pastel yellow to apply across my page. Once I'm happy with the vibrancy and the depth of colour across the page, I'm going to bring up my heat gun and give it a good blast to make sure it's all nice and dry before step 3. Step number 3 is to use a stencil with a medium of your choice. Now I've already chosen my archival inks, and I've taken the Beyond Time stencil from TCW, and I'm using this brown tree branch archival ink just to add a couple of spots on my page. Now normally I would add it in 3 places, but I know where I'm going to be placing my focal point, so I'm only going to add it in 2, but I'll come back later to add a 3rd. that will do for now. So step number 4 is to add a focal image. So I have an old napkin that was sent to me in Happy Mail that has this beautiful bird imagery on it. So I want to add this on the left hand side of my page. So again, using the matte collage page from Aleen's, I'm just going to very carefully glue this piece of tissue down onto my page. I've got to be very, very careful because it is extremely fragile. And as I'm gluing it down, I'm making sure that I have the main bird image stuck down, because I am going to remove some of the tissue from around the bird. So you'll see me adding the sealer over the top, and then I will start to tear away the excess that I don't want around the bird image. And when I'm happy with the amount of excess tissue that I've removed from around the main focal image, I'll just bring out my heat gun and make sure it's all nice and dry before adding in my second piece. Now that that's dry, I'm going to add a quick coat just over the top to make sure that the napkin is completely sealed and stuck down. It's now time to add the second piece of tissue, and I've just shown you me removing those extra pieces of ply from the back of the napkin. So now that I'm just left with that single ply, I can stick that down onto the left hand side of my page using the same method, so using the same collage page once again. I'm trying to be as gentle as I possibly can because this tissue paper is extremely thin and extremely fragile. So once I'm happy that it's stuck down perfectly, I will bring out the heat gun, give it a blast, make sure it's all nice and dry before moving on to the next step. So now that my two focal points are down, I want to go back in with that stencil. I said I'd be bringing it back again later. So I just want to go back in and add a little bit more colour where I've covered it over with the napkin, and then add my third point down towards the bottom of the page. Now that I've created that visual triangle of stenciling, I'm more than happy. So it's now time to remove the excess tissue from around the borders of the page. So now we're ready for step number 5, which is to use at least 2 rubber stamps. You don't have to use rubber stamps, you can use the clear photopolymers if you wish, or use any kind of stamp that you want to. So I'm going to be using 2 Dinky stamps from Indigo Blue. One is the Dinky Script, which you can see me just adding to the block now, and the other is a Dinky Ink Splat, which you'll see me use in a little while. And if you missed it, this is the Leaf Green Archival ink from Ranger. So now I'm done with my script stamping, I'm just going to clean off the stamp and then swap it over for that Dinky ink splat. And I'm going to use the Potting Soil Archival ink with the ink splat and just again randomly put that around the page. And that's step number 5 complete. Step number 6 is to make marks with a credit or an ATM card, or even a hotel key card will do, or any piece of card that you have to hand. So I'm just going to use up the remnants of the white gesso that I already have on that styrofoam plate, and I'm just going to randomly add some cross hatchings with the edge of my old ATM card around the border, primarily coming in from the outside in, and then I'm going to just give it a quick heat blast to make sure it's all dry. So step number 7 is to add a quote, title or a phrase. So for this, I've got out some of my old chip letters that I bought from K&Co a long time ago and never used, and I've taken out the letters that make up the word spring, which is also one of the inspiration words at the bottom of the mission brief. And I'm just going to stick those down just using PVA craft glue. And the PVA craft glue doesn't really take that long to dry, so by the time I've stuck down the letter G, the glue on the S has already dried and holding it in place. So before I move on to step number 8, I want to finish off the letters by just making them pop a little bit more around, from the page. So I'm going to go around each of the letters using this Signo white opaque rollerball pen and just adding a white border all around those letters just to make them pop off the page a little bit more. So adding that white border around the letters really does help it stand out from the background, particularly when you have a similar colour letter to a similar colour background. So for the final step number 8, add a frame or border, and again I'm going to use up the last remnants of that white gesso, and I have the half-tone border stencil from TCW, which I also believe is a Dina Wakley design. I'm going to go around all 4 sides of my page, just breaking in that half-tone dots just to help create a white framed grungy kind of border all the way around. So once my border is complete, I'm just going to give it a quick blast with the heat gun to make sure it's all nice and dry. But I also want to add a darker border. So using that potting soil archival ink and an ink blending foam, I'm just going to add one last little border all the way around and edge it off with that the brown ink. Now just adding that brown ink all the way around the page just really helps to finish it off. So all that remains for me to do is to bring back that white opaque rollerball pen and just add a signature and a date. And then I'm going to call this page complete. And just to double check that I have accomplished everything, I'm going to tick everything off that I've done. So I've completed all 8 steps, I've used the word spring, and I've used all the 3 suggested colours. So, mission accomplished! Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that art journal page spring into life. If you did, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share the video with all your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. But don't forget, if you want to play along with the Mission Inspiration Challenges, visit the link in the description area below, or the one that's on the screen right now, and you can play along too. That's all from me for now. I will see you all again real soon. Bye for now.